we're live streaming, so whenever you're ready, we're ready.
I think we're good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 Clay County Planning and Zoning meeting. We have a few housekeeping rules, please. Tonight we will hear 8 cases. We will begin first with a report from the Planning and Zoning staff that will summarize each case. Prior to any discussion the board members may have, we will then ask the applicant to step up to the podium to ask or answer any questions and present support of your application. We ask the applicant to begin by stating their name and address for the record, as these meetings are recorded. We will then ask for any public participation that may support the case being heard and anyone that may oppose the case being heard. And again, asking any participant to begin by stating their name and address. And please remember the topic of discussion needs to remain pertinent to the case being heard. The purpose of the Planning and Zoning Board is to hear the cases and make recommendations to the Clay County Commission. The Commission will review and decide the cases heard tonight on January 18th, 2023 at 3 p.m. in this room. And could we begin tonight with a roll call of attendance?
Yes, Chairman. David Rodas.
Present.
Mike Brinkley.
Present.
Brad Scarlett.
Present.
Terry Griffin.
Present.
Marvin Davis. And Chairman Tom Decker.
Present. Then we call for a motion to approve the minutes of our December 6th meeting as presented.
Move to approve.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very well. Could I have a roll call vote?
David Rodas.
Yes.
Brad Scarlett.
Yes.
Mike Brinkley.
Yes.
Terry Griffin.
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Abstain. First case we'll hear tonight is case number January 23-101RZ/F. And could we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
All right, so this case is the replat of lots 1 and 2 of Creekside Ridge. Currently, the property is platted. It was recorded in 2021. It consists of 2 5-acre lots and currently zoned residential ranchette or R5 with the shared driveway coming off of CC Highway. The proposed subdivision is to combine the 2 lots into one and rezone the property into R1 or residential rural. In the upcoming case, the applicant is also requesting a variance, or excuse me, a vacation of a utility easement between the 2 lots right through here. This is the surrounding area. There's a couple of recent cases that we heard. I believe this one was a month or 2 months ago, and this was a little bit earlier last year. This was the Crockett edition, and this was the name escapes me, but the 2008 comprehensive plan indicates that this property is located in the rural low density tier. The rural low density tier allows for 1 unit per 20 acres or a subdivision of land into 5+ acres, provided that a percentage of the land is preserved. In this case, it would be an agricultural land preservation, and the applicant has provided on the lot. This is our standard rezoning criteria that we hear with all of our rezoning cases. Staff believes that the applicant has met this criteria. And this is what our process looks like. So we publish this case in the Courier Tribune. Property owners within 1,000 feet are sent certified letters. In this case, we sent out a total of 9 letters. We post a rezoning sign on the site. For our outside agencies, typically, this is a fairly unique case, but typically we require the applicant to reach out to outside agencies to get their approval. Those typically include Clay County Public Health, Water District, and whether it be MoDOT or Clay County Highway Department. In this case, for MoDOT, this case was already approved back in 2021, and there's already an existing shared driveway easement with it. So we didn't require that. This is a combination of two lots that was already approved by the public health in that local water district. So we didn't request approval from these agencies. Staff has received phone call inquiries, but there was no expressed concerns on this. And staff is recommending approval with two conditions. One condition deals with the changes to the recording copies of the plat, and the second condition is to record the vacation resolution before the final plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions the commissioners might have, and the applicant is also present.
All right, thank you, Shane. I do have one question. Is the rezoning to the R1, and it'll have the agricultural land preservation as part of the rezoning, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Should that show up on the survey, or am I overlooking something on the survey?
Yeah, from my understanding that they're keeping the same agricultural land preservation that was on the last two. Let me see.
And so we haven't required that those be on the final plat. It's kept on the zoning map itself. So it's published with the annual zoning map, and then it's kept internally at the planning and zoning office. So
Okay.
sometimes the final plats will show them, but the recording copies won't. We have them
Okay.
remove the ALP.
Okay. All right, I'm good to, any other board members have questions for staff? Okay. Would the applicant please step forward and state your name and address?
Don Lee Beatty Jr., address 2710 Tomahawk Road, Chillicothe, Missouri, 64601.
Very well. Do you understand the staff's report and have any questions or any agreement? All right. Do any of the board members have questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir. Yep. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? None? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the case being heard? With no additional discussion from the board, I would call for a motion for the approval of the rezoning of the replat Lot 1 and 2 of Creekside Ridge.
Move to approve.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a roll call vote.
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
and Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I think we can roll right into a motion of the approval of the final plat with conditions attached as they're set out in Exhibit A for the replat of Lot 1 and 2 of Creekside Ridge.
Move to approve with conditions.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very well. Do you have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
and Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next case we will hear this evening is case number January 23-102V. And can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
All right, so this is, I kind of addressed this in the previous staff report, but this is the request to vacate the utility easement between lots 1 and 2 of Creekside Ridge. If we go back to the plat here, again, it's that one right between here. Let's see. This is the approval criteria for vacations. It states due and legal notice has been provided as required by the section. No private rights will be injured or endangered by the vacation. The public will suffer no loss or inconvenience from the vacation, and in justice to the applicant, the vacation should be approved. Staff believes that the applicant does meet these approval criteria. Another part of the process we do is more outside agency outreach. So we received comments from Public Water Supply District Number 3 and Platte Clay Electric. They responded with no objection. As of today, we haven't received any other objections to this request. Staff is recommending approval with the one condition, that is the resolution for the vacation is to be recorded with the final plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions commissioners might have, and the applicant is also present.
All right. Very well, thank you, Shane. Do any of the board members have questions for staff regarding the vacation approval? No discussion. If the applicant would step up to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Donnie Beatty Jr., 2710 Tomahawk Road, Chillicothe, Missouri, 64601.
And you understand the staff's report and the recommendation, and have any questions?
I understand and no questions.
All right. Do any of the board members have questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? None so. If anyone in the audience would like to comment that opposes the case being heard? With no further discussion from the audience or the board, I would call for a motion for approval of the vacation of the utility easement for lots 1 and 2 of Creekside Ridge with the attachment attached as set out in Exhibit A.
Move to approve attachment.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Could I have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
and Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The third case we'll hear this evening is case number January 23-103 RZF. And could we have a staff's report, please?
Yes, Chairman, would like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
So this is a replat. It's in private gardens. It's lots 9 and 10. You can see it's outlined in yellow. Currently, it exists as 2 lots. There's a lot with the single-family home, and then there's a lot line that runs right next to the pond here, and the pond is on the other lot. This private gardens was platted in 2004, and it's zoned R1B. The proposal is just to combine those 2 lots into one. So the applicant came to planning and zoning, wanted to build an accessory building on this lot, but the county code does not allow an accessory building to be built on a lot that does not have a single-family home. So the options at that point were variance or combine the 2 lots. So the reason we're combining the lots is so the applicant can build that accessory building. So this lot would be rezoned to R5, which is our current standard for lots that are 5 but less than 10 acres. And the utility easement, the applicant has decided to leave that utility easement there and not vacate it. It's just not going to be in the way, so just decided not to get rid of that utility easement. Here you can see the surrounding area, City of Liberty to the south, I-35 to the east. This is Prairie Field, and here's private gardens. This unincorporated land is scheduled to be part of the big development that's going to go through Liberty. That's been in the news here lately, so it's pretty close to city limits. All that's going to be annexed in, to my understanding. It's located in the urban services tier. That tier allows suburban density up to 4 units per acre. Again, we're combining two lots into one. Staff believes this is consistent with the rezoning criteria and the comp plan. Because this was a rezoning, we published this in the newspaper, sent a total of 43 certified letters, posted a sign on site. This follows our normal process. Again, as Shane said with the previous case, we're combining lots, so we're not requiring all those approvals because we're not trying to create a buildable lot. The house is already built at this point. It is in the Kearney Fire District. Staff did receive phone call inquiries. No concerns were expressed to staff, and staff is recommending approval with one condition. Staff would be happy to answer any questions commissioners may have, and the applicant is present as well.
All right, thank you, Kip. Do any of the board members have questions for staff? With none, would the applicant please step up to the podium, state your name and address?
Hello, Pam Newton, 12605 Northeast 118th Street, Kearney, Missouri 64060.
Ma'am, do you understand the staff's report? And do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay. Do any of the board members have any questions for the applicant? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the case being heard? With no further discussion, I would call for a motion for the approval of the rezoning of the replat of lots 9 and 10 of private gardens.
Move to approve.
Very well, do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next case we'll hear this evening is case number January 2.
We need a vote on the final. Right, we did the rezoning?
Yep, I'm sorry. Yep, we can roll right into the final plat of the replats lot 9 and 10 of private gardens. I would call for a motion for the approval of the final plat of lots 9 and 10 private gardens with the items attached as shown in Exhibit A.
Move to approve with conditions.
Very well, do you have a second?
Second.
Can I have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next case we'll hear this evening is case number January 23-104RZ/P. And could we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, would like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
Okay, so this one's Quail Run Farm. Currently, so the entire property's kind of outlined in the red there. It's roughly 50 acres, zoned ag. It's located off Plattsburgh Road, and there is one single-family residence right in here. The proposal is to create that lot that you can see outlined in yellow. So that would be the lot, roughly 6 acres. The red portion would stay unplatted because it meets one of the current county exemptions, which is 40-plus acres with 100 feet of road frontage with access. So it doesn't have to be included in the plat. So in effect, we're just creating that 6-acre lot so it can be sold separate from the rest of the acreage. It will include an agricultural land preservation, and as I stated, the house is on the 6-acre lot. Here's the surrounding area. You can see that's our subject property here. These lots across the street are roughly 3.5 acres. It's kind of a good mix in this area of residential and ag zoning, so staff feels what we're doing is consistent with the area. Has those same 5 rezoning criteria that staff believes have been addressed. Follows that same process where we published this case in the Courier Tribune because of the rezoning. The 6-acre lot would be rezoned to residential ranchette, which is our current standard for lots between 5 and less than 10 acres. And then the 43 acres would stay zoned ag. We sent a total of 17 certified letters, and this case goes in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission and then on to the County Commission for approval. Clay County Highway Department requested 40 feet of right-of-way. Clinton County Water District Number 4 provides water to the existing house. Holt Fire Protection District serves this area, and the Clay County Public Health Center gave preliminary and final approval. And I'll show you one of the reasons for this property line kind of jutting out here is the septics in this area. So we had to get the septic system far enough away from that property line. So that's kind of why it has that unique shape there. So they received all their outside agency approvals. We did receive some phone call inquiries on this. There were concerns expressed about potential development of the additional acreage. I will tell the commission if they would ever want to develop that, subdivide that acreage again, there would be a new case. Adjacent property owners would get letters again, and we'd come back before the Planning and Zoning Commission. But this case in front of you tonight is just creating that 1 6-acre lot. Staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions, some changes to the recording copies of the plat, pond inspection. This has actually received that report today, so that's been completed. And then the Highway Department has requested that the south driveway entrance be gated or removed. And we put that as a condition as approved by the Highway Department. So if I go back to the aerial, it's this entrance here that they've asked to be gated or removed. So again, staff is recommending approval, and the applicant is present as well. We would be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Kip. Does any board members have questions for staff? If the applicant would like to step up to the podium, state your name, address, please.
I'm Tom Glennon. I've lived here 53 years on the same piece of property. First time we've ever sold or done anything with that property. It's the 3rd house we've had on that piece of property. And we've moved about 1.5 miles down the road on the same street downsized. So that's why we're doing it.
Yep. Do you understand the staff's report and have any questions or
No, I
issues?
have no questions.
All right. Do any of the board members have questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? Yes, sir. If you can step up to the podium, state your name and address, please.
Yeah, Eric Norton, 17802 Plattsburgh Road. So I live right across the street. So they won't be able to build any more houses on this piece of property.
I think that we've already addressed that, but go ahead, Kip.
Yeah, so on the 6-acre lot, it has a house. For them to be able to build a new house, they would have to either demolish the old house, or it would have to fall within the accessory dwelling unit code, which is kind of like a mother-in-law's quarters home. Just about any property in unincorporated Clay County can have an accessory dwelling unit along with the house, but it's a smaller version of a home, and they would have to meet those stipulations. On the 40 acres, it's my understanding that it doesn't have a house now, so a house could be built on that, but it'd be, again, 1 house and 1 accessory dwelling unit.
Okay, and so then the only way that you would be able to sell that is if you zone that out residential. You couldn't just zone that piece agriculture, the 6 acres, or it doesn't qualify for that?
I think you're asking, so this property is going to be rezoned to residential because our current standard to keep ag zoning is you have to have 20 acres to keep the ag zoning. So if they can sell this property as you see it in the yellow, and then they can, as it currently is, they can sell the 43-ish acres altogether. If they wanted to properly subdivide the 43 acres, that would have to come back in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission and County Commission to be approved.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to comment that opposes the case being heard? All right. Is there any additional discussion with the board? Would call for a vote to approve the rezoning of Quail Run Farm.
Move to approve.
Very well, do we have a second?
Approve. Second. Sorry.
Do we have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I think we can roll right into the preliminary plat, and I would call for a motion to approve the preliminary plat of Quail Run Farm with the conditions set out in Exhibit A attached to the motion.
Move to approve condition.
Very well, do we have a second?
Second.
Very well, can I have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
and Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next case we'll hear this evening is January 23-105F, and can we have a staff report, please?
Yes, Chairman, would like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
So this is the final plat for the case we just discussed. Section 151-3.6 of the Land Development Code deals with final plats. It basically states if the final plat is consistent with the preliminary plat, then it shall be approved. Staff believes that the final is consistent with the preliminary. Again, we're talking about the 1 6-acre lot on the plat, with the rest of the acreage remaining unplatted. The recommendation from staff is for approval with the same 3 conditions that we discussed with the preliminary, and staff will be happy to answer any questions the board members have.
All right, thank you, Kip. Do any of the board members have questions for staff? With none, would the applicant please step up to the podium, state your name and address? Mr. Glenn, could you state your name and address, please?
My present address,
Yes, sir.
my name is Tom Glennon. We live at 16020 Plattsburgh Road, Kearney, Missouri.
Okay, and you understand the staff's report regarding the final plat of your Quail
Yes.
Run?
Yes.
Do you have any questions? Are you
No.
good? All right. Do any of the board members have questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? None? Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to comment that opposes the case being heard? If the board has no further discussion, I would call for a motion to approve the final plat of Quail Run Farm with the conditions listed in Exhibit A attached to the motion.
Move to approve conditions.
Very well, do we have a second?
Second.
Very well, do we have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next case we'll hear this evening is January 23-106RZ/F. And could we have a staff's report, please?
Yes, Chairman, I'd like to add this staff report as part of the official record.
Yep, so be it.
All right, so this is the replat of Deer Run Acres. This is something, this was recorded back in, I want to say it was August. It currently sits around 40 acres. It was platted into 3 lots. Each lot is zoned residential rural or R1, which is just standard zoning for lots between 10 and 20 acres. The proposal is to combine the 3 lots into 2 lots, rezone to agricultural, and to vacate the utility easements between the existing property lines. This is the surrounding area. This property is surrounded by all sorts of different zonings, including residential rural or R1 or residential ranchette R5 and agricultural. So staff believes that it fits in with this area. This property falls under the natural resources tier of the 2008 comprehensive plan, which allows for 1 unit per 20 acres. Since both of the new proposed lots meet the 20-acre minimum, staff believes this proposal is consistent with the comp plan. Again, this is the standard 5 rezoning criteria that we hear with all of our rezoning cases. Staff believes that they do meet this rezoning criteria. And for our process, this is what it looks like. We publish this case in the Courier Tribune. Property owners within 1,000 feet are sent certified letters. In this case, we sent out 28. We post a rezoning sign on site. And this is a unique case because we typically reach out to outside agencies for approval, similar to what we did with the previous cases on this agenda. But since this was just recently platted, Highway Department has given the okay for 3 driveways off of this. So now they're only going to be doing 2 driveways off of this upper short lane. And again, we got the approval from Clay County Public Health and the Water District on the previous case. So staff has received phone calls, inquiries for this case, but no concerns on this proposal. Staff is recommending approval with the 2 conditions. One deal with the changes of the recording copies of the final plat, and the other condition deals with recording the vacation resolution before the final plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions the commissioners might have, and the applicants are also present.
All right, thank you, Shane. Do any of the board members have questions for the staff? None. Would the applicant please step up to the podium, state your name and address?
My name's Shane Crease. My address is 13530 Mount Olivet Road, Smithville, Missouri.
And I take it, Mr. Crease, you're kind of representing the other 2 parties this evening, is that?
Correct.
Okay. Yep. And do you understand the staff's report and agree with the staff's report, or have any questions?
Yes, I understand and agree with it and have no further questions.
All right, very well.
Thank you.
Yep. Does the board have any questions for the applicant? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment that supports the case being heard? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the case being heard? If the board has no questions for the applicant or the staff, I would call for a motion to approve the rezoning of Deer Run Acres second plat.
Move to approve.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Very well. Can a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I think we can roll right into the motion regarding the final plat, and I would call for a motion to approve the final plat of Deer Run Acres second plat with the conditions attached as they're set out in Exhibit A. Have a motion, please.
Move to approve with conditions.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Could I have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Let's see. The next case we'll hear this evening is case number January 23-107V. And could we have a staff report?
Chairman, I'd like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
So similar to the second case we heard tonight, this is a utility easement vacation that deals with the replat of Deer Run Acres. Again, this is going to be our approval criteria. Staff believes that this has been properly met. And another part of this process that we go through is we involve reaching out to possible utility providers in this area and making sure they don't have any sort of objection to the vacation of the easement. As of today, similar to the last utility easement vacation, we have not received any objections to this request. Staff is recommending approval with the one condition, and that is the resolution for the vacation is to be recorded with the final plat. Staff would be happy to answer any questions the commissioners might have, and the applicants are present.
All right, thank you, Shane. Do any of the board members have questions for staff? None. Would the applicant please step up to the podium, state your name and address?
Shane Crease, 13530 Mount Olivet Road, Smithville, Missouri.
And there again, I presume that you're representing the other two parties involved?
Yes, that's correct.
And if you have, do you have any questions or concerns with the staff's report? Do you agree with the,
I agree with the report, no questions.
do any board members have questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, Shane.
Thank you.
Yep. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to comment that opposes the case being heard? With no further discussion from the board, I would call for a motion for the approval of the utility vacation within lots 1, 2, and 3 of Dearborn Acres with the only attachment shown in Exhibit A.
Move to approve with condition.
Very well. Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The next case we'll hear this evening is case number January 23-108RZ/F. And could we have a staff's report?
Yes, Chairman, we'd like to add the staff report as part of the official record.
So be it.
So this one's a little bit unique. So we've got it outlined in yellow on the screen. It's part of Lot 11 of Waterfall Manor. And Waterfall Manor was platted in 1970. It's zoned R1 currently. And rather than the proposal, I just want to give you some history on this subdivision. So as I said, it was platted in 1970, but you can see, if I go back here, if you look at what's outlined in yellow, and then you look at Lot 11, that doesn't match. So when this was platted, Lot 11 was at approximately 10 and a half acres when that plat was recorded. Then shortly after, in October of 1970, the developer decided to subdivide Lot 11 by deed without replatting. So he put a lot line right down here and created two lots out of Lot 11. As I stated, the replat was never completed. So once a property is platted, in order to change those property lines, the proper way to do it is go back and replat it. So there's a plat on file that shows what the property lines are. But the developer chose to do it by deed, and then he sold those two lots separately. I don't know that, at some point the Planning and Zoning Department found out because we had the lot flagged in our computer system. Then the applicant comes to us and wants to build an accessory building, and we let them know that there's an issue with their lot. So the way to fix this for them is to replat the lot to correct that error. So if we create a plat with this lot, now it's 6.39 acres. It luckily meets the lot size requirements in this area. They've chosen to put an agricultural land preservation on it. So staff believes it meets all the county requirements. We just need to finish the replat to get rid of that error that occurred in 1970. So not a result of the owner's action, but we still got to go back and fix it. The Land Development Code currently states that if a lot was what we consider an illegal subdivision, our enforcement on that is we don't give out building permits until that error is corrected. And that's what we're going back and doing tonight, correcting that error so we can give out building permits for this lot in the future. And I'll also point out, if you notice Lot 10, and I go back, you can't see it real, well, actually you can see it on this one. This is lot 10, and it was, same thing happened to it, is they divided it by deed too, so there's a house on each of these, so these folks have the same problem as well, and the other half of lot 11 has the same problem. So why it happened that way, I don't know, but we're correcting at least part of it tonight. It's located in the rural low density tier. Again, the exception is a 5+ acre lot with agricultural land preservation. They're proposing a 6+ acre lot with the agricultural land preservation. Staff believes this meets the current comp plan and believes these rezoning criteria have been met. We would rezone this to R5, which is our current standard for lots from 5 to less than 10 acres. It goes through that same process. We sent a total of 24 certified letters, and this goes in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission and County Commission for final approval. Again, this is correcting an error, so we didn't require any approvals from the Health, Highway, or Water District. We're not creating additional lots at this point. They were created in 1970. And the Fishing River Fire District serves this area. We did receive phone call inquiries. No concerns were expressed to staff. We're recommending approval with one condition, and staff would be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is present as well.
All right. Good. Board members have questions for staff? And one question, Kip, if you would have worked for planning and zoning back in 1970, we wouldn't have this problem today, so.
Well, I appreciate that, but we make mistakes today too.
If the applicant's present, would you please step up to the podium, state your name and address?
Hi, I'm Mary Bruce, and I live in Texas, 2901 Clear Point Drive.
Yep. All right, could you pull the microphone down a little closer, please, and repeat that?
Okay, Mary Bruce, I live at 2901 Clear Point Drive, Flower Mound, Texas.
All right, very well, thank you, Mary. Do you understand the staff's report regarding the rezoning and the final plat? Do you have any questions or concerns?
I understand. I have no concerns, except that I just want to make it clear that this all happened before my parents purchased the property.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to work with Kip to clear up the problem.
Yep. Well,
But
we
I do
appreciate it.
feel like that Kip did a very good job.
Yep.
But someone should have caught it sooner.
Yep.
Because those properties out there have switched hands over and over. So that's all.
Well, this is way before our time, so
Yeah,
we're on it now.
my time
so,
too.
yep.
So,
Do any of the board members have questions for the applicant? All right, thank you, Mary.
thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that supports the case being heard? None. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment that opposes the case being heard? No comments from the public participation, and any additional discussion from staff or from the board? I'd call to a motion to approve the rezoning of the replat, part of lot 11, Waterfall Manor.
Move to approve.
Very well, do we have a second?
Second.
Could we have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
I think we can roll right into the final plat, and I would call for a motion to approve the final plat of the replat of part of lot 11, Waterfall Manor, with the conditions attached as were set out in Exhibit A.
Move to approve condition.
Very well, do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have a roll call vote?
David Rotis,
Yes.
Brad Scarlett,
Yes.
Mike Brinkley,
Yes.
Terry Griffin,
Yes.
Chairman Tom Decker.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, I think that pretty well concludes our cases that were here on the agenda. If the staff has any comments they'd
Just
like to make?
a couple comments. These cases are planned to be heard, as you stated at the beginning of the meeting, January 18th in this room at 3 p.m. Last month's cases, which included Northbrook, Walnut Ridge, Dowdle Estates, and Catron Farms, were all approved by the County Commission in December. We did get at least one application, so we're planning on having a meeting, but just pay attention to your emails, because if that case would drop, we'll let you know. If we do have a meeting, we are considering presenting amendments to the bylaws for the Planning and Zoning Commission. And then by those bylaws, it states that we should elect a chair and vice chair in February, so think about that as well. And I think that's all staff has.
The amendments that you're proposing at the February meeting, or is this something new or things that we've discussed previous, or?
No, they're just more of just getting our bylaws up to date. It's been a while since they've been revised, so nothing drastic that we're considering.
All right, very well. Well, I would call to adjourn our meeting. So, thank you. The meeting adjourned.